Reggie, in just a cursory reading of Ephesians, it seems, and this is maybe true of all of Paul's writings, that he doesn't use the language explicitly, the kingdom of God, in the same way or as much as Jesus does. Now, does this mean that the idea is being deliberately downplayed, let's say, for Gentile audiences, or is it different somehow?
I think for Paul, the idea of the kingdom of God that he brought over from Jesus is so full that he wants to unpack it for people. And it is important to note that when Paul's friend and traveling companion Luke summarized Paul's ministry in the very last verse of the book of Acts, he has Paul in prison, and what he's talking about is the kingdom of God. Mm-hmm. And what I think Paul is trying to do is put feet on the concept. And that's why we talked in the lesson about the different aspects of Jesus' lordship. And remember how at the end of chapter 1 of Ephesians, Paul talks about how God had raised Jesus up from the dead and placed him above all rule and power and authority and given him like total charge of the cosmos. And then I think what Paul wants to do is help people understand just what that means for them and what their place in that is. And that's why in the lesson we talked about things like they're having a citizenship that is no longer defined by this world, but Jew and Gentile together being citizens together of God's kingdom. The inheritance that you can have only because you're a citizen. The fact that God himself reserves the right to name, which is a function of being a king. Yeah. And the whole call to spiritual warfare, it's a call to be a part of an army. Well, this isn't a private militia. This is joining the one who is defined in the Old Testament as the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Sabaoth, the God of armies. And he is establishing his rule. And so we are called to be a part of that, as well as the fact that Paul sees himself in prison as an ambassador, one who has been sent by a king to stake his claim on people around them. And I think part of what Paul's doing, in a word, is to help people from their world and their different concepts of the duties of citizenship to their clan or their local municipality, or even if they're Roman citizens or if they're of Jewish heritage, to recognize that the claim of Jesus as the one to whom all dominion has been given impacts them in these different ways. So it's very much kingdom stuff, even though Paul doesn't use the language of kingship, directly as much.